Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Coastal Connection, featuring our guest, Brett Overholtzer, a retired MLB pitcher.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump right into the first question. The first question is, you spent your whole life preparing, hoping you'd be in the MLB.
Yep.
When you finally get on the mound for the very first time, walk us through everything you can remember from that feeling and what it was like.
Well, it started probably since I was 4 to have that major league dream, become a major league baseball player. All my family, friends supported me. However, growing up, it was, is it achievable? So there was that doubt, but that's all I ever wanted to do. So once I got that moment, became drafted, worked my way up to the minor leagues, got to the big leagues in 2023, the Houston Astros. So a little over 10 years ago.
2013?
13, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
13.
2013, made my debut, and it was everything I expected it. The crowd, the feelings, the adrenaline, the locked-inness that one would have when, you finally feel like you've reached it to the physical sense, to the, like you mentioned, that's all I ever wanted to do and worked towards it. That was my goal.
So from the beginning.
So from the beginning.
You just wanted it.
Coming out the womb, I was throwing baseballs, really, and that's all I ever wanted to do. So dream came true, and here I am, man.
Well, what age were you? Everybody knows this. You realize something about yourself, a talent, you have a gift. But what age were you where you knew you were the man, and it was time to? This is going to happen.
Never, because if you have that mindset, though, Chris, is if you have the mindset that I made it, or I'm on top of the world, or I'm the man. The game, life in general, but the game itself will humble you quick. I mean, that's anybody that ever played baseball. If you're a hitter, you get 3 hits out of 10. You're really successful. 3 out of 10 puts you on a 300 average as a hitter, and that's, in baseball terms, it's really good. Now, on a daily task, if you're only succeeding 3 out of 10 times, it's probably not so good. So baseball is kind of like that different category of sports to where if you miss 7 out of 10 free throws, you're probably not a very good free throw shooter.
Yeah.
So baseball's too the only game where the defense has the ball. They're in control, unlike football offense. Basketball offense has the ball. So I had to just be locked in, take control of the moment, and give it everything I had.
But your first pitch, I mean, were you thinking about the moment during your first pitch,
or
did
leagues?
you? Yeah.
The third pitch was a home run.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I gave up a home run my third pitch.
Well, you got those first 2 in, so that's good.
To put it in perspective, yeah, it was all the emotions a human could really have at once bottled up. But once that, now it's okay. My dream came true. I made it to the major leagues. Right, I towed the rubber with a lot of previous Hall of Famers, people that I grew up on TV watching and idolizing.
That's got to be insane.
Once that moment kind of evaporated, then it was a moment of, all right, now it's time to get to work. All the hard work paid off to get here, but now there's a challenge that it's to stay in the major leagues. Not just pitch a few innings, make a few games. Even though that's an accomplishment and it's all, and it's well celebrated within the sport of baseball. Getting that call up from the minors to the majors.
Oh, we're going to touch on that.
It's huge. But now I have to make it. I have to stay.
I see. So it's fighting to stay.
It's fighting.
That's
to
what
stay.
everybody's
There's
thinking
only
of, unless
7.
you have a monster contract already.
Do you know how many Major League Baseball players there are at once in the major leagues?
What would you guess?
Just take a guess.
All the teams?
Well, you got 29
active
times
roster,
32 teams.
Active roster?
Times
Active
29.
roster in the major leagues.
I'm going to say there's somewhere...
I mean, you're doing a little math.
1,000.
You're close.
I was going to say
Just
somewhere
under.
around 950, somewhere like that.
750, if I'm not mistaken. 750. Does that add up? 25-man roster, 32 teams?
I thought it was 29, so I did the math wrong, yeah.
Yeah. So less than 1,000 players are in the major league level. So that kind of puts my last point into perspective, is that to stay there is a whole nother challenge in itself, because you're competing against the rest of the world.
That is the top 1,000 people.
Oh my gosh. So how many people are in the total farm system?
So you got a 40-man roster. So every team has a extended roster, and that's considered the 40-man roster. So you have the 25 active, that travels with the team goes with the team. The 40-man roster, you could be part of the 40-man roster in AA or AAA. If you were to go down, if you were in the big leagues, Chris, and went down with an injury, they would probably most likely call on one of the other guys on the 40-man roster, that extended roster.
Oh.
So 30, I'm not the greatest with math, 40 guys for 32 teams is the total of the roster. Now, they can make other moves, take you on and deactivate you and add somebody that isn't on the roster. But it's highly unlikely if you were the GM.
So when you got called up, I looked into you a little bit, as you know. I'm sure, of course, I did. So you came up, you had an awesome, complete game against, I believe, or you had a win against the Orioles.
Yeah,
a really
first
good
start. And
I mean, how great is that? And then you're suffering with some sort of blister. Now, when you did suffer with that, they put you on what used to be called the DL, but they changed it, of course.
Yeah, to the IL.
Yeah, of course, because we got to be politically correct here. I'm sure everybody really agreed with that in the league when
Which
they did
at
that.
the time, it didn't offend me because I was on the DL for a blister. So it was kind of like...
Just like what you said, when you went on the DL the first time, they put you in that pool of players for that other 10 until you felt pretty confident coming off a big win that you were going to go back, which you did.
Right. It was that in spring training too, and to fill, our viewers and people in on the DL situation with the blister. And any person who knows when you're out there digging in the yard, gardening,
you might as well give up.
If you don't have gloves on, you get blisters, calluses, and that skin has to harden for those hands to really materialize into tough skin. So in spring training, I've been throwing, but in spring training, it's humid, it's hot in Florida. My skin just didn't have a chance to callus over, so it started to tear, and it just got worse. I was pitching through it. I made the team, made the roster, but the blister began to draw blood into that area. So it had to be popped, drained, and then start over again to gain that skin. It was right on the fingertips. So to throw a baseball, yes, my hand's important, but to have my index finger feeling and to have it healthy is a whole different story. So I needed at least a month, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a month on the DL for that skin to
just staring at your finger every day.
That's what it was. Driving
you nuts.
There's a rodeo rub. It's called rodeo rub. Now, I came up with Houston Astros. Maybe a cowboy in Texas came up with it, but the Astros have it in their medical cabinets, and it's for, I guess, expediting the process for skin, new skin to really become tough. So yeah, I was staring at it, but also taking the ointment, rubbing it daily. Also using sand to dry out any moisture, sand bucket, rice bucket. Yeah. Not sand bucket, rice buckets. Draw out the moisture and let that skin get tough. But it was definitely challenging. But I had to still keep my mind sharp and also the rest of my body prepared.
Oh, it's got to be the longest month of your life after coming off a great win, just wanting to get back out there.
Yeah, and that was spring training. So chomping at the bit to get out there, start with the team didn't happen that year. I want to say it was in 14 or 15 where I was set to break with the roster, the team, start the seasoning. But I had to spend a little time in spring training to heal the skin.
So that leads me to my next question. This is a general baseball question.